Everyone laughed when the little crow said he wanted to fly like an eagle, until the day he soared higher than anyone thought possible. The morning sun painted the mountains of Silver Peak Valley in shades of gold and amber. High above the cliffs, the mighty eagle Orion spread his enormous wings and glided effortlessly through the endless blue sky. Every creature in the valley admired him. "Look at Orion," the rabbits would whisper. "No bird flies higher," the deer would say. "He was born for greatness," the wolves agreed. But among the crowd stood a young black crow named Cade. Unlike other crows who were content scavenging in fields and city edges, Cade often gazed upward toward the mountains. He dreamed of soaring. He dreamed of freedom. He dreamed of becoming more than what others expected him to be. One afternoon, Cade gathered enough courage to approach Orion. "Mr. Orion," he said nervously, "will you teach me how to fly like you?" The entire valley erupted into laughter. A magpie cackled. A fox smirked. Even some crows shook their heads. "You are a crow," one sneered. "Eagles are born different," another added. "Know your place." Cade lowered his head. Perhaps they were right. Perhaps dreams were only meant for those lucky enough to be born extraordinary. Before he could walk away, Orion landed beside him. His piercing golden eyes softened. "Who told you the sky belongs only to eagles?" Orion asked. Cade hesitated. "Everyone." Orion looked toward the horizon. "Then everyone has forgotten the truth." "And what truth is that?" Cade asked. Orion spread his wings. "Greatness is not about where you begin. It's about how many times you choose not to quit." The training began the next morning. At sunrise, Orion took Cade to the lower hills. "Your first lesson," Orion said, "is balance." Cade expected dramatic dives and powerful flights. Instead, Orion made him stand on swaying branches for hours. He practiced landing, turning, controlling fear. Days turned into weeks. The other animals mocked him. "Still pretending to be an eagle? When are you giving up? Why embarrass yourself?" Each insult pierced Cade's confidence. One evening, exhausted and discouraged, he collapsed near Orion. "Maybe they're right," Cade whispered. "I'll never be like you." Orion stared across the valley. "When I was young," he said quietly, "I crashed more times than I can count." Cade looked up, surprised. "You?" Orion nodded. "I wasn't born soaring above storms. I became strong because I kept flying through them." He turned toward Cade. "Failure doesn't decide who you are. Your decision to rise again does." Winter arrived. Snow covered the mountains. Training became harder. Cold winds battered Cade's small body. More than once he wanted to quit. But every dawn, Orion waited. Every dawn, he believed. Slowly, something changed. Cade's wings grew stronger. His movements became precise. His fear transformed into determination. Then came the storm. Dark clouds swallowed the valley. Lightning cracked across the sky. Animals rushed for shelter. Suddenly, frightened cries echoed from the cliffs. A family of rabbits had become trapped near a collapsing ledge. The fierce winds made rescue impossible. "No one can reach them!" shouted the deer. Orion prepared to take flight, but a powerful gust slammed him backward. His injured wing, hurt during a previous hunt, couldn't withstand the storm. The valley watched helplessly. Then Cade stepped forward. "I'll go." Gasps spread through the crowd. "You'll die. You're just a crow." Cade looked toward Orion. For a moment, doubt returned, but Orion simply nodded. "Remember what you've learned. The sky doesn't ask who you were yesterday. It only asks who you're willing to become today." Taking a deep breath, Cade launched himself into the storm. Rain lashed his feathers. Wind pushed against him. Fear screamed inside his mind. "Turn back. You're not enough. You can't do this." But Cade kept flying. He remembered every lesson: balance, patience, persistence, courage. He reached the trapped rabbits. One by one, he guided them toward safety. The final journey nearly exhausted him completely. Yet when his wings threatened to give out, something remarkable happened. The animals below began cheering. "Come on, Cade! You can do it! Keep flying!" The same valley that once laughed now believed. With one final burst of strength, Cade landed safely beside Orion. Silence filled the mountain. Then thunderous applause erupted. The fox lowered his head. The magpie looked ashamed. The young crows stared in awe. Orion stepped beside Cade. "You wanted to learn how to fly like an eagle," he said. Cade smiled weakly. "But I never became an eagle." Orion shook his head. "No, you became the best version of yourself, and that is far greater." Years later, young birds from every corner of the valley sought Cade's wisdom. When they asked how a simple crow accomplished the impossible, he always answered the same way: "I stopped listening to those who defined my limits, and I started believing in the strength hidden within me, because sometimes the greatest teachers don't give you wings, they teach you how to trust the ones you already have." Moral: never let others decide what you are capable of achieving. Greatness isn't reserved for the naturally gifted, it belongs to those who refuse to give up. The right mentor won't make you into someone else, they'll help you become the strongest version of yourself. You don't have to be born extraordinary to do extraordinary things. Persistence, courage, and self belief can take you higher than fear ever will.